So this is my Guildford Mini, not Guildford, this is my Guildford Slimline. And the reason I'm going to be working on this today is because the video that you may have just seen was talking about the Filofax that I've just purchased on eBay, which is the Mini Executive, and it had this problem with the leather just falling away when you touch it, when you rub it very lightly with your fingers. And in that video I referred to my Guildford Slimline personal size and how that problem with the leather was even worse. But we're going to do a little bit of dissection because I'm going to be removing the pen loop to this particular binder because I do use this quite a lot. Because despite the fact that, check this out. Let me remove the paper. Okay. You can see that I have actually, with a paintbrush, I've actually removed the leather from this binder. It was sort of it's made of the same material as the Guildford Mini Extra Slim here, and the Mini Executive, which I have just acquired today, well, yesterday actually, and they all seem to suffer from this problem with the leather. So we're not really going to talk about this, but I thought I would just mention it to start with. I've actually removed I've cut away the left-hand side did have some card slots, and I don't use the card slots. This is just a working tool in its basic form. It's very much a working tool, and I just want to remove the pen loop here, not just for the sake of it, but to show you what I do not like about these pen loops. I think I'm going to do it with a penknife rather than a pair of scissors. But let's see if I can just take this off all in one go. Well, that wasn't very difficult, was it? So at some point I intend to undo the stitching and then make things neater. But right now it's not essential because using it like this is absolutely fine. So just removing the pen loop like this was okay. So let me show you this pen loop and show you why I do not like these pen loops. So what I need is a Filofax pen, and maybe a Pilot G2. But let me show you what's inside here. So this pen loop is very, very typical of Filofax models, where instead of having a single piece of leather, they've got a thinner piece of leather, and then Filofax fold it over, and you will get a stitch along the hem here and a stitch along the other hem. But this is the problem that you only discover when you take the pen loop off. It's because the actual the leather consists of it's a larger piece of much thinner leather, I suppose, because it's cheaper to do it like this. And then they fold it over and they just leave it inside. It's not stitched, it's just loose like this. So over time, if you have a pen that is fairly pointed like this, then it's unlikely to snag if it does snag, then the problem you've got is it just makes it worse, because it means this leather can just curl a little bit, and then it makes it really difficult to put the pen in the loop. And that is particularly the case if you have a pen like my Lamy fountain pen, which is the same width as a Filofax pen, but it has a sort of blunt end rather than an arrow-shaped end, and that is sometimes difficult. It sometimes catches on this. I wouldn't say it's unfinished, because it is what it is. It's up to them how they make it. But there is this problem with the pen loop, and I've not explained this before about the problem with the pen loop. But when you dissect the Filofax and actually see it for what it is, i.e. it is just a piece of leather that's just folded over, stitched there and stitched there, but these two, there's a substantial amount of leather here that can catch on a pen if the pen that's being used has a sort of fairly blunt end that can snag this. Well, I should have brought I should have had my my Lamy fountain pen to demonstrate, but I believe that this is a design flaw. I really do. And it is quite common amongst Filofax models. And it doesn't affect me, because I don't really use a pen loop at all. So, it's just I generally don't cut this I don't do anything like remove the pen loop. I just leave it on there, because at some point I might sell the Filofax. I don't want to damage the Filofax in any way, because I appreciate that many people, I imagine most people, will use the pen loop. But I wanted to demonstrate this problem that I see as a design flaw on some Filofax models. I much prefer it if it's just one piece of leather that doesn't have what I call the fold over. And I have come across Filofaxes where the inside, these pieces of leather have curled so much because they've been repeatedly snagged that it's just almost impossible to use the Filofax pen loop because of that. So there we go. I'm banging on about design flaws, which I don't really mean to. I hope my criticism is seen as constructive rather than destructive, even though I'm destroying my Filofax. But I just wanted to share that the problem of the Filofax pen loop, some, not all, some, and you need to be aware of that, and maybe choose a pen that has a sort of more pointy end rather than a blunt end, so that you avoid snagging the loose flappy leather inside the pen loop that is not immediately apparent. So there we go. So one marginally improved Filofax, which I really do like this model, because of the absolute perfect flatability, and I feel it's now been improved again, because it no longer has that appendage, that annoying pen loop. I find them annoying, and so it is back to operation and marginally improved. It's a bit rough and ready, but I just thought it'd be interesting to not only show you the I do like this man-made substrate, this material underneath to which the leather was bonded before it kind of just flaked away. I actually like that. And what I've done here is, this is very, very grubby here. Well, I've just left it deliberately grubby. This is the glue that was used to stick this wafer-thin layer of leather onto this man-made material, this fabric. Whereas here, I could have gone a little bit more. I could have removed it a little bit more, but I have this was under some pockets, so I kind of didn't do this when I tended to do it here, and I removed all the leather, and this actually feels very, very nice to the touch. It's very, very therapeutic as a Filofax to handle. And then under here I didn't do it so much because this was where the card slots were, and then I cut them away, removed them, and then it left this patch where I hadn't cleaned off the glue completely. But I could do it if I carried on. If I gave it another clean, then this would come off, and I would certainly be able to remove this. But I just left it as an example so that you could see the stages of removing this. So it doesn't take much, just a wet brush and some soap and circulations with a stiff artist's paintbrush, and the leather just floats away as if it's it just disintegrates, leaving this actually quite nice material. In fact, I'm banging on about this, but I actually think that rather than Filofax having this very, very thin layer of leather on the inside, they might as well just leave this fabric like this. I would buy that, and it'd be cheaper to manufacture as well. So I would be happy. Leather on the outside is fine. Interior leather, not so much. But I would definitely, I'll definitely buy. I don't know why they. I don't know. It's not, clearly not, this problem with the leather isn't a one-off, because this is suffering. This one's suffering. This one I've just bought yesterday is suffering. So there is definitely a problem with Filofax leather of this particular age with these particular models. But all I'm saying is remove it with a paintbrush, and it's actually rather nice to the touch, And also the other thing is, the last thing you want is bits of leather constantly coming off to the touch and getting on your clothes or in your food, or if you're eating on the go or whatever. If it's starting to crumble and come off in chunks, you might as well get rid of it all in one go, so that it doesn't end up all over the place. That is my philosophy. So I might well do that with my Guilford Mini Extra Slim at some point. I might indeed do that, because it is there is some, there are bits on your fingers every time you use it, so not great. This one is, you can just feel it. It's even worse. But this one, not a problem, because it's been removed. So there we go. Thank you. Bit of an unusual one, where I'm just banging on about the problem with the fold over pen loop. But until next time. Okay, so if you liked my video, like and subscribe, all that good stuff. I've got some links to Patreon and my eBay page in the description below. But until next time, thank you very much for watching once again, and goodbye.